You must also consider being attacked by someone's bare hands. I stayed out of the way of a number of classmates in high school for good reason. There was one guy that if I saw him somewhere, I just nodded and kept going. I knew not to mess with that thug. After high school, there was a fire next door to his house. A fireman was pouring water on the house attempting to put the fire out. This classmate told the fireman to put the water on his house instead. He wanted to make sure that his house did not catch on fire. When the fireman refused, this thug almost beat the fireman to death. I had an interesting friend in high school. He was a little white guy that no one would pay any attention to. He used to come up to me to show me something. He would say, "Hey Gary, check this out." He would haul off and hit the walls on the side of the school. The walls were hard stucco. He would dent the walls in about 1/2 of an inch. It amazed me the first time I saw this and thought he probably broke his hand. I looked and there were just a few little flecks of blood on it. He did this frequently. After high school, he took his girlfriend to a dance in Oakland. At the dance, a very large black man told him that he was taking this guy's girlfriend. The black man told him to go home as he would be taking care of his girlfriend the rest of the night. The little white guy told the black guy to leave him and his girlfriend alone. The black guy threw a punch at the white guy. When he missed, the little white guy threw a punch back. One punch and the big black guy was dead. I tell you to illustrate this that someone doesn't need a knife or a gun to kill you. One punch from even a little guy can be lethal. There is a very present danger of being attacked without weapons. Do not let your guard down just because you don't see a knife or a gun. Be very careful about someone grabbing you. I was grabbed around the head, throat, and chest. Once a guy came up behind me and jumped me and grabbed me around my head. He was squeezing so hard I thought he would either crush my head or I would pass out. I wrenched my head loose. I thought he was going to tear my ears off. When I got loose, I took a fighting stance. He just laughed and walked off. You could get grabbed from the front, but most likely a thug will grab you from the back. The worst place to get grabbed is around the throat area. If someone has you around the throat, he can either crush your windpipe or strangle you. Get yourself loose as quickly as possible. Get your weak hand between your throat and the person's hands. This is to relieve some pressure from his hands being on your throat. To get loose, you can either thrust your elbow backward, trying to hit them in the chest, or anywhere else you can. Another technique is to kick them in the shins or stomp their feet to get free. Once free, though, you'll have to use your gun on them. Try practicing this with your practice partner, but be careful not to hurt your partner. Walking backwards is good for you to practice and making maneuvers to get away from your adversary. For example, you may have to walk backwards for a distance while holding a gun on someone. When you are a safe distance away, you can turn and leave the area. Just remember to wait a while before turning your back on someone. I practice walking backwards on sidewalks, downstairs, and any situation where an attack could take place. When practicing, pretend you are holding a gun on someone while walking backwards. Be careful not to fall off sidewalks, downstairs, or other obstacles. Also practice stepping to the side to get out of the way of an attack. Sometimes you may have to provide a buffer between the bad guys and someone you are protecting. Last year my wife and I went to a community pond near where we live. We were walking our dogs around the pond. It was probably a mile around the entire pond. When we were about halfway around the pond, I noticed some unsavory characters drinking beer on a picnic table. They got up off the table and I thought they were coming in our direction. I told my wife to start back the way we came and take the dogs with her. She started back toward our car and I lingered back to provide a buffer between her and these people. The three men milled around for a while but did not come after us. After my wife reached a safe distance, then I caught up with her. Tactics such as these are something you may have to do with your family.